This is the Mini Countryman Cooper SD All4, which is a mouthful of nonsense in many ways. I mean, it's not a Mini, definitely not a Mini. Countryman, yeah, four-wheel drive, a bit more useful than a standard Mini, but who was really buying these? It's sort of an accessory that's a bit more useful than a normal Mini. And then we go from Countryman to Cooper, well, not even just Cooper, Cooper S, but then with a D on the end because it's fitted with a diesel engine. So we've got a sporty version of a sporty car that's been made into a utility vehicle that's then been made into a sporty version of that less sporty version of itself. And these are exactly the sort of vehicles that put me as a car person off cars these days. It's been a long time since I've been very excited about modern vehicles, and this is part of the reason why. We've got a car like this, then we've got the SUVs that then have the backs chopped off and turned into sport backs, so they're no longer really utility vehicles again, so a bit similar to this really. And of course, just look at what the best-selling Lamborghini is now. It's a massive four-wheel drive brute, which has outsold all of the other models massively. But none of this matters anyway, because cars are not designed for car people, and car people don't really buy cars. This was wildly successful. The R60 was released in 2010. By 2011, it was accounting for nearly a third of US market sales, and the following year, a third of global Mini sales. So, can't knock it for that. It's obviously a very well designed car for the market. And I've spent the last week working on this car, and I'm not unimpressed. It's well put together. I know that the earlier years did suffer an amount of reliability issues, and this is fitted with the N47 BMW engine, which stretches timing chains. The alternative is that there is a smaller capacity N47, so they did the 1.6 in this, but I don't think that'll have been as popular. And then your only alternative is a 1.6 petrol, which I believe had its own issues, but probably would have been a better shout in this car. This 2-litre N47 has 140 brake. The 1.6 petrols with the turbochargers ranged from 100 to nearly 200 brake, and then over 200 brake in the John Cooper Works. Now, this is no buyer's guide. I'm not here to tell you whether to buy one or not. It's just a practical look at the car. And there are things that are just odd. So the headlight, the bonnet goes round the headlight. I believe that there should be some sort of rubber here. It does look kind of odd how much of a gap there is around the headlight. Previously had an R57 Mini with these style door handles, and I feel like these are starting to get stiff, but the ones on an earlier model that I've had before were terrible. I don't know how you lubricate them or make them less difficult to use, but they do get a bit funny. Inside, there's lots of cute things about it. All the shapes that they use. They stick to these round and elliptical sort of shapes. In fact, there's one between the whole front and rear door card. Sort of aircraft style switches that sort of don't make sense. I don't know what this one's supposed to do. It looks like it's some sort of dimmer function, but I've not been able to get it to do anything. You've got to accustom yourself to the layout of these controls, so that we've got the window controls down here in the middle. Later models, not of the Countryman, but later models of Minis have the start button here. And there is no way of switching the parking sensors off, which is similar to BMW. We've got rear parking sensors on this car. If you pull up somewhere, they just keep beeping and you can't stop them. Heated seats. Now the passenger seat moves a very long way forward, giving us a massive amount of space in the back, but also revealing another quirk. So this is the towing eye under the passenger seat. Now, where do you think the locking wheel nut is? Do you think it'll be in the glove box? In a little plastic box? Nope, not in there. In the boot, in a random spot. So not under the floor, with no spare wheel. Quite an amount of storage space under the floor and a level loading, which is pretty good. Multiple tilt positions for the rear seat, that is a good thing. And then obviously flat down. Interesting that you can put all 3 seats down individually. Don't think that's a very common thing. And the fold's nearly flat. Don't think you'd want to sleep in the back of it. Got these tie downs under these clips here that I can't even get off. Interesting amount of tie down hooks. It's obviously useful for some things. And the final thing that I've noted with the interior are the speakers under the seats, which is the same as the BMWs. Conveniently, in the Countryman, I'm on a country lane, and give you a quick idea of the way that the car drives. It's like a Mini. It's quite uncomfortable, but raised up, and obviously it's got 4-wheel drive, so it should be more capable. You can feel it. It feels sort of heavy on the front end, or heavier on the front end, weirdly. Apparently the 4-wheel drive system tries to send 50% of the power to the back wheels until there's an issue, and then it can send up to 100% to the rear wheels. It's got the right amount of gears, 6-speed, the 140 brake, diesel, no problem. It's not particularly inspiring, but it's adequate, and I think they can touch about 40 miles per gallon. I might be wrong. It might be lower 30s, but if it weren't called a Mini, you could look at it differently, and it might be more appealing. But it's the fact that it's called a Mini. It's sort of, when you think about the original Mini, it sort of ruins it, and it must ruin it for a lot of people. It won't ruin it for the people that are buying them, because I don't think the customer base of people that are buying Minis now would even think about the original Minis. But it's horses for courses, and it was very successful at being something that it shouldn't be, and that's fine. So well done to BMW. Now I'm going to be trying to drive the cars that I work on in the future and just make little videos like this. I don't claim to be a professional anything, but I do like to ramble about cars sometimes. Any feedback, please do leave it in the comments, and I hope that you'll follow what I hope is something that I'll keep doing. Thanks for watching.